Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. A podcast is all about the experiences and memories that playing board games with friends and family can create. Your hosts James and Nathan are here today, and we're going to talk to Vukašin about Princeps Games and his upcoming Kickstarter. How are you doing today, Vukašin?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
So I wanted to go ahead and start off with, if you want to give a little bit of background on Princeps Games in general first.
Well, yeah, of course. I studied law when I was younger, and Princeps was like the first guy of Roman Senate, and I always liked that name and the way it sounds. So you can see our logo, it's like a Roman senator holding hand and having a speech, and the crowd is cheering and throwing something at him. So when we started this company, I chose that name because I always liked it. I'm there with my brother and my friend, and there's a team of three of us, and we're doing designer part, graphic part, art part, and we're doing communication with the companies and doing commercial marketing and everything. This is our first game, actually first game that's going to be on Kickstarter and first serious project that we made. The very idea came to me about 6 years ago. In 2014, there was a 100th anniversary of World War I starting in the world, and I thought that it would be nice to have a game that covers Balkan Peninsula theater and Salonika front. Usually those games for World War I cover Eastern and Western front, which is a majority of happening was there. So I wanted to introduce the crowd with something new. Especially as the world was set on fire and the war started in Balkans and ended eventually. So I start planning and designing, and we start play testing it, and after a while we just paused. There was no really possibility for us to finish our project, and it just sat on the shelf. But last year we just started to get interested again in that project, and now we're here.
Yeah, and I like your, I think your website's nice and sharp and stuff, and I'm really excited about the game, which is called March on the Drina, right?
Yes, that's the name.
And I think that there's a lot of World War II games.
Yeah.
And there's some World War I games, but I think the World War I games, there needs to be a lot more of them. And I like that setting a lot better.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, especially World War II games, they're mostly Europe and North Africa and the United States, like Atlantic Ocean. World War I is most games I saw try to copy that theaters like Europe eventually, but that's why we choose like separate Balkan Peninsula theater to introduce some other players like Serbia, Bulgaria, which were not represented as much in previous World War I games.
Yes.
And then the March on the Drina, I would like to say that the March on the Drina is the name of a song, a very popular Serbian song, which sings about our first victory in World War I. It was first Allied victory in summer of 1914. And that song is something that over 100 years is always played in any event of national character here in Serbia.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Are you gonna have the lyrics in the rule book?
No, I don't have the lyrics in the rule. That's a very good idea.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. There's still time to change it, so I will definitely put the lyrics there. We have the when we start Kickstarter, you will see the music of the heading video will be March on the Drina composition, but without lyrics. So I think that we should throw lyrics in the rule book. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, that add a lot of flavor. That's cool. Do you want to go talk about like the gameplay of the game at all?
Yeah, I can talk about the game, no problem. The main thing in the game is, for me, it's the calendar. Time from 1914 to 1918 is divided in 14 periods. Each period is one round in the game, and each round brings some effect to the game. Each round is described in one calendar card. So all major events and all major figures in World War I from that period are described on that calendar card. So by playing the game, you learn World War I history. So if you don't know it by now, you will learn it by playing our game. The next, as you can see, the map has hexagon fields. And there are 4 players with 4 types of unit in each army. Each unit stands on 1 hexagon fields, and there are rules of movement and engaging in combat. The point of the game is to occupy most cities on the territory of Serbia, or for Serbia to liberate all its cities on its homeland territory. At the end of the 1918, if no side controls most cities, the whole cities, the winner is the side who controls the most cities on Serbian territory. You buy units, you have like income, we call it national military capacity. You have national military capacity chart, you track that income from in each round, so you will know how much money you have to buy new units. And that's pretty much the basics of the gameplay.
Yeah, I actually, I'll put the, you have a how to play video on there. I'll link it into the podcast so people can watch it.
Yeah, excellent.
I did like it a lot. I like the, I like the standees. Those are pretty cool. Is that going to be the final art for the Kickstarter for the standees? It looks good.
We have even better ones. I can show you right now if you want to. Okay, so you can see this is how it's going to look like. There will be like plastic standee and the card that's on the standee. And each side, this is like a German general. Each figure will have different back print.
Cool.
So when you put it on the board, you will see the front and the back of each unit. Each unit is different. Serbian infantry, German, Austro-Hungarian, and Bulgarian infantry, they have different pictures and different art. So that's how we plan to continue on Kickstarter.
Yeah, they look really sharp. I like them.
Yeah, thank you.
If you could send us some pictures of that, I'm sure James would put those in the show notes for us.
Yeah, I'll put if you could send some pictures of them, I'll put them up so people can see them.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
How was that process going where you guys went from your prototype models to talking to the manufacturers to getting like samples and stuff in? How'd that go for you?
Well, it started very good, and because we had a good designer, we had good artists, we had good local manufacturers who can build us and make prototypes. So we are just tomorrow we're supposed to send copies to reviewers, so they will make their opinion on the game, and they are pretty good. As you can see, this is local made, and this figure is digitally printed, so it will even better when it's offset print and everything. And that part went very well and very smooth, as I say. But right now I'm struggling with customs, VAT taxes, and CA certificates for European Union. From United States, you have a STM certificate, I think. So that's a little bit of a headache. To understand all that process, not to make a mistake, to miscalculate the shipping cost. That's like the major issue, because we're from Serbia, so wherever we go, we have to import something, and there's always that barrier of bureaucracy that is holding us back for a while. But I think we can manage it.
So is that something you're trying to stick as a principle, just trying to, as much as possible, get things locally made and not as outsource so much?
We have like a strategy that we plan to set funding goals low, so as much as like 50 backers. And if we get only 50 to 100 backers, we can make local game. We have a manufacturer who offered a very fair price for a small amount of units. So we plan to start with this offer, and if we do well on a Kickstarter and get more backers, then we can get manufacturer from China and get fulfillment company and complete the whole process. So pretty much depends how many people will back our project.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that you found a local game producer to make it for you.
Yeah, we last year we made a Cyrillic version of a game for a domestic market. We made about 500 copies, and we sold every one of them. And that's when we thought that we should try that on English, and maybe world is interested in our game. And so we'll see. Now we did new graphic, better looking, upgraded rulebook. We had some feedback from previous buyers of the game. So this is pretty much an upgraded game that we already have.
Yeah, and I think just even being in English, you don't even have to sell to the it's great to sell to the United States, but I mean, you got UK and you got all other countries you can get to. So that's really cool.
Yeah, but like as I see online, most people who are interested in board games are from United States, and that's really the heart of the market. I think like 65-70% of people who are in the board game world are from United States, which is good because your custom formalities and shipping is much better than European Union. European Union is a mess when it comes to that. So I hope that we will get more backers from United States.
I hope you will. I think you will. I mean, for me, I know that the whole World War I theme is very interesting to me. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of other people too, especially in the wargamer communities too.
Yeah. I find in the board game communities, people like topics that they're not as familiar with, especially ones like this where there should be a lot more familiar with it, and they feel like they've not learned what they could potentially learn.
Yeah. I think that educational character of our game will be something that will draw people to the game, because every game you played, you have like a glimpse of what's going on. If you don't know the background of the history, you will be pretty much in the dark. But here, you can know nothing about World War I and start playing the game and finish about knowing everything you need to know about World War I. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is definitely an amazing feature. I liked games like Twilight Struggle and Watergate that did that, where you can learn history through them.
Yeah. Watergate is good. Yeah.
It's definitely, I think, something that's essential to any history-based game is you need to be able to go in there without knowing anything. It's just where I see a lot of these fall down. It's like you have to go in and you're expected to know all this stuff. Being able to learn and not being required for knowledge is really important.
Yeah. Here you need to know how to read, and that's it. No history knowledge is required to play this game. You have like a small introduction, 1 page in our rulebook, where I write my view of starting World War I. And after that, you have that calendar, and that calendar cards will guide you through the 1914-1918 conflict. And basically, you know everything you need to know. I mean, if you would say all that in history class, you will get an A+ and applause.
So this game plays from 2 to 4, and I understand that if you're playing 4-player, it becomes essentially a 1 versus many. Is that correct?
Well, you play like 3 against 1 player. So if you play in 2 players, 1 player will control 3 sides, and 1 player will control 1 side. and if you have to control three sides, you have to separate the finance of each side and basically play the whole thing again with another side. So it can be played in two, but it's best, of course, to be played in 4 players.
So is this more or less symmetrical, or are you going for a more asymmetrical approach where each side is slightly different in its starting strength? Or I understand you have generals have some powers. Are those same on each side or different?
They have some generals have the same abilities on each side, but you don't have a same starting number of units because there's 3 against 1. So that's maybe not historically correct, but we had to make some modification to make the game interesting. So we made that Serbia has almost the same number of units as the other 3. But we tried to level that because those 3 sides have more offensive units, artillery and cavalry, and Serbia has more defensive units like infantry. Also with income, the cities are getting you money to you use that to buy reinforcement later. So basically here we try to force action. So if players think a lot and play a little, they will definitely lose the game because you have to be offensive, you have to capture the city, you have to attack in order to win. So as long as if you wait long, you will lose. So we try to make not spending 2 or 3 rounds positioning and making strategy. You just need to start the attack right away.
Yeah, that'll help people stay engaged in the game too.
Yeah,
which is really important. And then you say it goes over 14 rounds too.
Yeah.
So at the end of 14 rounds, what happens if so at the end of the 14 rounds, you either have to occupy X number cities or liberate all of Serbia. If that doesn't happen, then the Axis wins at that point.
You can calculate how much city on territory of Serbia each side have. So who has the majority of the cities wins.
So yeah, so if those all make whoever has the majority wins, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think the average, when you were playtesting and stuff, what was the average playtime for it?
Well, it's about, it really depends how you start the game. If you, I have to say, at this point, that's why we introduced, as you can see, those mini-maps. We called it mini-maps. We wanted to avoid that every start of the game looks the same. So every initial setup of the game can be different. Players take mini-maps, and without knowledge of the other side, they position their troops and decide what strategy they will use. Will they attack from the north, from the south, from the east, or the west? And that's why it is important to start playing, and then you will know if you made a mistake, if you make wrong positioning of the troops, or the opponent foresaw your positioning, then the game can last short, because after 1.5 or 2 hours you just see that there is no way that you can win this game, so you can start another one. But if you do the positioning right, it lasts around 3 hours was the average.
Yeah, and that's not bad for a war game.
Yeah.
So most of them get into the 6 to 8 or longer. So 3 hours is pretty good. Yeah.
It's an average 3 hours, but we've played even to 6 hours. So that only happened like once or twice. But it really depends on starting positions of the troops.
Yeah, and it sounds like it keeps it engaging the entire time. So that's what matters.
Yeah. You have to be engaged. Yeah.
So, are you guys planning on doing future games too after this one?
Yes, we have already like 2 or 3 games pretty much finished, but we need to play test it a little bit more. And right now we're occupied with this Kickstarter, so we don't have the time to do it. But they will be all based on history, only different periods, different gameplay, different game mechanisms. But they will all reflect some period in history.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So it's good that you're going to keep it going too. So
Yeah, thank you.
are you also after the Kickstarter? Are you going to try to get it out on retail too?
Well, we're thinking about it. That right now we are in process of negotiating and finding people who are willing to do business, and it really depends on Kickstarter and how many backers we have. Then we will know how much to produce, how much to send, how much to give to the retail, and everything.
Yeah, I can imagine all that logistical work that you have to do, especially getting back to that custom stuff. That has to be crazy.
Unbelievable. I just spent 3 days on my phone, like 20 hours a day, because I talk with the Chinese and the US people and the European people, and they're like 24 hours basically available. Someone is always awake. And I just talked to like 6 or 7 companies, getting the offers, like getting the terms. I don't want to miss something. I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm pretty determined to do this right.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah, I never thought it's that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like basically, okay, we go to Kickstarter, people like our game, we get the money, send them the game, but this is like business number one, so.
I'm really glad you guys are doing that too, because a lot of companies have lost their shirts when they go to Kickstarter and then they do like worldwide for fulfillment, and they didn't take into account shipping and customs and time delays and
Yeah.
You
have to think about all that. So we'll plan to give us enough time margin so we don't bound ourselves to something too soon. And that's why I'm like doing the talk with all those people, making it clear and everything prepared and backup plan for everything. And I hope I will do my job good.
Yeah, it sounds like you're at least ahead of it, so that's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you guys going to, with the Kickstarter, and it to say successfully funds and everything's great, are you going to offer late backing options?
Yes, I think we're going to use a pledge manager and offer late backing. Yeah.
I think that's really important too, because a lot of people are still like financially crunched right now.
Yeah. They can choose. Who knows what will happen? We plan like in late September to start Kickstarter, so it will be finished in October. So late pledges are good to be there, because who knows what can happen in 3-4 months time.
Yeah.
Is it too early to have a rough estimate, like what is your projected fulfillment time, or do you have some concept of that yet?
Fulfillment time, we're still, I got to the manufacturer phase right now. I'm still need to get quotes from fulfillment company about time of transport and custom fees and everything. So I should know that in like 2 weeks. I think that everything will be cleared by then. Basically, they have that table with the data, and they say like shipping time from point A to point B is this one, but everybody is, because of the COVID-19 situation, they're all very careful about making promises and making deadlines. So everything is not that clear and sure as it was, so I have to be careful, and they have to be careful, so that's why it's taking a little bit longer to agree everything and to set up.
Yeah, and then you got production delays based on like quantities, and then you got stuff getting stuck in harbors.
Yeah. I know.
Just crazy.
totally. I'm reading people having their campaigns in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and I'm texting with them. I have a few friends who did it, and they were all like, it should last like for 2 months, but now it's 3 months. Everything is delayed for 1, 2, 3 weeks. So when you sum it up, it's pretty much so. We hope that everything will settle down by the time we have to start our campaign, but we're prepared for that scenario nevertheless.
Good. So, is there anything else you would like to say about the game or the company?
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say. So I just want to say to your audience, you can look at our website, our Facebook page, Instagram page, follow us, sign up for our newsletter. We have like once a month. We send our progress. We send some new pictures that we don't post online, so you can have a first look at some prototypes, some artwork, and basically we'll keep in touch with everyone who's interested in our game.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for letting us interview you.
Yeah, thank you for wanting me. Yeah, thank you.
And I'll just say that I'll put on our website and on our Instagram feed and Facebook, we'll put up some images on there. So if anyone wants to see the game and the content on there, and in the podcast, I'll put links to all that for you too.
Okay, I really like this board game community. Everyone I met is so polite and nice, and they want to help and to share information. And I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I'm always amazed at how awesome the board game community is.
Yeah,
just crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Thank you for listening. If you have any feedback for us, feel free to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Board Game Geek Guild at 2989, or our website at tabletopgamingguild.com. And don't forget to like, follow, and or subscribe. Tabletop Gaming Guild is a product of Tabletop Gaming Guild, LLC. All rights reserved.